Okay, this is my vlog post for this week. And this week I am talking about my students' progress using my digital component or technology component in the classroom. And the technology that I chose to use is the website Moodle. The students use it as a calendar. All of their materials are on there. There is an online textbook, an audio version of the textbook, all of their assignments, everything. And I have specifically been using the calendar portion of Moodle as my form of technology to help the students see what's going to be happening in the next week and a half to 2 weeks, which is usually how far in advance I plan my calendar. And students can go on the calendar. They can see exactly what we're doing every single day, both the topic and the type of activities. And specifically, they can look at their homework and they can look and see when tests and quizzes are, when assignments are due, and if there are going to be any reading checks. And these reading checks are really how I have been gauging the students' abilities or the technology's effectiveness with the students. And so I started using it about 2 months ago, I guess, and I have regularly kept it updated. And so far there have been 3 reading checks that the students have taken since I really started using Moodle. And the first one, the scores were okay. They're about on par with what I expected. The second one, the second reading check, the scores were pretty terrible. It was a section of the textbook that was really complicated. It was the early Middle Ages, talking about primogeniture and feudalism and the differences between feudalism and manorialism. So by looking at the reading check scores, I decided to spend a day focusing on all of that and kind of have a review day based on the slightly below average scores. So even though Moodle didn't work helping the students prepare necessarily, it did help me by seeing the kids didn't do so well with the reading check, so I went back and made sure I covered that information again later in the week before they had their test. And they all did fairly well to above average on their test, which I was very proud of them. So the third reading check was this past week, and my students did awesome. They saw about a week in advance that there would be a reading check, and several of them asked me about it and asked what they should look at, and it on the calendar says specific pages and what exactly they should be looking at. So I was really happy to hear the day of. There were some students that were like, "Oh no, we have a reading check, I didn't know." And then the majority of the class would respond to them like, "Why didn't you look on Moodle? It was posted last week." So it was really good to see that the students were looking on Moodle to see if there was a reading check. And I would say that my average score was probably between probably high 80s, low 90s when you factor in all the different scores. Typically my reading checks are either 4 or 5 questions, multiple choice, maybe one short answer question. And so the students did really well, and I was very happy to see that they were utilizing Moodle to help themselves, because they've all been asking for more grades because the end of the 6 weeks is coming up soon. And I was really happy to see that they've been using Moodle. And the kids that haven't been using Moodle asked the other students if there's always stuff posted on there. And so the kids that hadn't looked at Moodle before, they are going to start using it more now. And I always remind the students that they should always check Moodle in case they don't know what the homework is, in case they have any questions what we're going to talk about. So I think that more and more students are using Moodle, and I think it's really helping them, which I'm really happy about. Anything that helps them understand the information better or help them learn and succeed in any way is great in my book. I wish that I had more access to technology in my classroom that I could use more. For the most part, we have a computer that's hooked up to a projector, and that's about it. No smart boards, no access to mobile computer labs, very limited access to real computer labs. So I'm really happy that this form of technology is working for them, since they don't really get too much interaction with technology in the classroom. So hopefully they'll continue to do really well in my remaining time in my school, which isn't too long at this point, only about 3 or 4 weeks now. So I'm really looking forward to see how they do with technology. I'm going to keep using it, and hopefully it helps them out even more.